Good morning, and welcome to the virtual home of Calgary Unitarians. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey of faith or search for meaning, welcome. If you are visiting for the first time or for the first time in a long time, know that we are grateful to have you with us. We come together in beloved community to grow in wisdom, welcome and deepen relationships, and act for a just and sustainable world. My name is Pam Rickey. I use the pronouns she and her, and I have the privilege of serving on the Board of Trustees. Please join us after the service for a virtual coffee hour where we'll meet in small breakout rooms for a chance to socialize. This congregation is important to me. I think on our Christmas Eve service, it really exemplified for me why I keep coming. For those of you who maybe weren't there, on our chalice table, we had peace, love, joy, hope, and the peace letters kept falling. And a steady hand would come out and just put that letter back up and reestablish peace and move love to the front. And I thought, this is why I come, because in an imperfect world, we come together every week to reaffirm our faith in the basic goodness of human beings and our interconnectedness, and just keep working to maintain that. So wherever you are located now, please acknowledge the traditional lands on which you live. For those of us in Calgary, we acknowledge that this meeting takes place on the traditional territories of the people of the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina and the the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, the Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. And Calgary, the city of Calgary, is also home to the Métis region of Alberta, Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. We are grateful to be welcomed here by the first inhabitants, and we acknowledge that we are all treaty people. Now we'll go to Mary Anna Louise for our chalice lighting.
We light our chalice this morning with the words of Erich Heller Wagner. Blessed is the fire that burns deep in the soul. It is the flame of the human spirit touched into being by the mystery of life. It is the fire of reason, the fire of compassion, the fire of community, the fire of justice, the fire of faith. It is the fire of love burning deep in the human heart, the divine glow in every life. In this spirit, we light our chalice. Our opening words by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. Awe is an intuition for the dignity of all things, a realization that things are not only what they are, but also stand, however remotely, for something supreme. Awe enables us to perceive in the world intimations of the divine, to sense the ultimate in the common and the simple, to feel in the rush of the passing the stillness of the eternal. What we cannot comprehend by analysis, we become aware of in awe. Our theme for the month of December has been awe. The word awe stems from an Old English word meaning terror and dread, which may have arisen from a Greek word, akos, meaning pain. The evolution of word usage has changed the perception of awe to something a bit more positive, but the words awful and awesome have the same origin. As we end the year 2020, the juxtaposition of awful and awesome seems quite appropriate. For our reflections this morning, I've chosen 2 of the audio-visual resources from our December reflections document and 2 readings from prophetic words of Unitarian Universalists. These words will help prepare us for our fire communion this morning. Is there something slipping through your hands that you want to recommit to in the coming year? Is there something that you've always wanted to do, but have not been willing to put in the work? Is it time now? Is there something else that occurred to you as you watched? The thought that occurred, or the thing that you may have noticed the most, might be important to your New Year transition. So think about it. The first reading that I'm going to share with you is by Reverend Lisa Friedman. It's called One Wish. If you had but one wish, what would it be? Take your time thinking about it. So much is at stake. An end to all suffering? A stop to all violence? A solution to poverty and all its ills? Would you wish for love, for forgiveness or healing? Would you wish the world joy or the wisdom to change? Would you wish to understand everything or to know less than you do? Take your time thinking about it. So much is at stake. For a wish is a thought, and a thought is an idea. An idea leads to commitment, and a commitment cries out for action. A wish can be a dangerous thing, something daring, and it need not be witnessed by the stars to come true. Let us be glad that we are all not given just one wish in our lives, but many. Let us be grateful, not for wishful thinking, but for the discipline and the thoughtful wishing that can lead to change. Our final reading for the reflections is by David S. Blanchard, and it's called The Unexpected New Year. To me, New Year's Eve has always seemed a rather arbitrary festival, a grand excuse for a good party, a useful time for reflection, an occasion for resolutions to be made, or at least toyed with for the future. I don't subscribe to the notion that the new year traditionally promotes, with the old geezer being shown the door as the young tyke in diapers makes her entrance. I think that time accumulates for each of us, and that the slate is never made blank. It's more like a mural that we keep adding panels to, bending around the corners of our lives. There are such things as New Year's in all of our lives, but rarely do I think they begin and end according to the Roman calendar. They begin and end at times by choice and at times by chance, at rather arbitrary moments of transformation, perhaps in a moment of loss. Other times when we feel in control of our lives and make a decision to live differently. Maybe in that rare moment when we know we are in love, or when we begin a new job, have a baby, write a poem, change our mind, get sick, lose a friend, look in the mirror. You'll know the time. You'll know when your own new year has begun. When it happens, raise a toast, throw a party, wear a funny hat, blow on a noisemaker. It will be time to mark, even if it's July, especially if it's July. Happy New Year, whenever. And with that in mind, we're going to move on to our fire communion ritual. So you will each need a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. And I think the instructions came with your service information, so I'm hoping that you have that. If you haven't, go grab one while I talk. I'm hoping that you've also made a plan according to your own circumstances as to how you're going to use fire today. It is totally acceptable to use an alternative. I personally will not be using fire today. One of the thoughts that came to my mind was to tear up my paper into little bits and add it to my compost bin when we're done here today. And that could be in the spirit of destruction or disposal, but it could also be in a spirit of empowerment or renewal as the compost matures and becomes usable and sustains new life. So that's a possibility as well. We will have a picture of a chalice full of burning papers during our meditation part of our fire communion. So you can also imagine your paper in that burning fire chalice that we'll have, if that works for you. Or you can take it to your fire pit later on today or at another time, or just tuck it away in a safe place for looking at or disposal later. Whatever works for you. So fire represents the creativity and passion that all intellectual and emotional beings have. It's an active force that has the power to create and animate things. Fire is also known as a purifier through flames of destruction. It is capable of renewal through the warmth and comfort of those very same flames. So today I invite you to write on your paper a word or a symbol to represent that which you would commit to the fire. You may want to let go of or purify a regret, an attitude, a way of being in the world that no longer serves you. Or you may want to renew or empower a hope for the future, a creative idea, an aspiration, or a new way of being in the world. Our meditative fire communion music this morning will be Gabriel's Oboe by Ennio Morricone. And as you listen to the music, you are invited to consider what it is that you want to commit to the communion fire today. The music will continue, and through any time throughout the music that you're ready, you may complete your chosen ritual or set aside your paper for completion later. And now we'll complete our fire communion with meditation words by Maureen Killoran. There is a challenge and a blessing in the choices of our lives. May we, in the privacy of the space behind our closed eyes, light candles to the heart to honor the power of our choices this day and every day. For the choices that have hurt others, may a candle of forgiveness light our hearts. For the choices that have resulted in a feeling of shame, may the light of compassion heal our souls. For the choices that have harmed our bodies or our minds, may a candle of tenderness help us to chart a new course. For the choices to remain silent when the voice of justice called our name, may a candle of commitment give us courage in the darkest night. For the choices to turn away from loving, may a candle of hope inspire us to take risks anew. For our choices that give birth to the spirit of change, may the light of celebration strengthen us as we walk unfamiliar ways. May the light of this common chalice illuminate our conviction, our compassion, and our covenant to care. And so may it be throughout our coming year. And now we'll go to Pam for our offering.
So as we go into our time of offering, the words by John Saxon, "As a fire exists by burning." This religious community exists by its mission as a fire exists by burning. But a fire cannot burn without fuel. And it is the time, the energy, the imagination, the vision, the creativity, the compassion, the love, and the financial support of the members and friends of this community that fuels our mission to nurture and sustain a welcoming, inclusive, and diverse liberal religious community that transforms lives and serves the world. Your support, the free and generous support of each and every member and friend of this community, is what fuels this community and its mission. And without your support, the flame of justice, community, and love cannot burn brightly to warm ourselves and be a beacon in a world threatened by division and fear. Ponder this as we take a few moments to rest in that place of generosity that fuels the spark within, brightened and magnified by beloved community.
What if we are? What if we are stars? What if we are? What if we are stars?
So we're going to sing together again, and Jane has provided us with a video accompaniment. So we will sing together the song Fire of Commitment, and it's one of my favorite songs, so I hope you enjoy singing it as well. Let's sing.
Sets our mind and soul ablaze when our hearts
And so here we are moving into a new year. This past year has been impacted in ways that we might not have been able to imagine by the COVID pandemic. We've lost some things, but what have we gained? What is the gift of this COVID situation? I've noticed some in my own life. Someone has said that Mother Nature has sent us to our rooms to think things over. And if that's true, I think it's about time. Can we make the best of that opportunity to think things over and change some things for the better, rather than trying to return to what we have considered normal over the past while? That's one of my hopes for the new year, is that as we're getting back to a fuller life of being able to see each other again. I do miss being in actual human contact with people, although Zoom is quite lovely and a decent second, but I really do miss gathering with my church friends, gathering with my family. I really do miss that. But can we change normal to something that's a little more caring of the planet, a little more respectful of overconsumption, those kinds of things. And I'm hoping that we can. And so let's hold that thought as we head into the new year and all of our hopes for how things can start to improve in our health and in as many other ways as we can make it happen. So we'll extinguish our chalice with the words of the Reverend Sarah Lamert. The element of fire represents passion, veracity, authenticity, and vitality. If the chalice is the supporting structure of Unitarian Universalism, then we are the flame, fanned strong by our passion for freedom, our yearning for truth-telling, our daring to be authentic with one another, and the vitality that we sustain in our meeting together. May we carry this flame with us as we extinguish our chalice today and leave this virtual space. We'll end our service today with our usual sung benediction, but first I want to invite you to join us for coffee after. At the bottom of your screen, you will see a red box labeled Leave Meeting. You must click on that box and leave the meeting before you can enter the coffee meeting. A page should pop up with a coffee cup on it, and if you click on that cup, it should take you to coffee hour. The operative word being should. Now, if that fails, and sometimes it's happened to me, then just go back to your original email invitation to the service, and you can also get the coffee link there. It'll be the third link on that email invitation that you received to the service. But I hope the first cup works for you, and I hope to see you at coffee. So let's sing together, Spirit of Life. Try You will be accompanying us.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stars.